Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lucia Rizky. I am attendance list number 7, class TPI 4C. I will tell you about the story of Calon Arang. This story is set from the time of Kingdom of Kediri, which was led by King Airlangga. At the time, a disease appeared which was said to have been spread by a widow named Calon Arang. Many victims have fallen. Of course, King Airlangga became worried and finally furious and ordered Mpu Baradah to do something so that the Calon Arang could be destroyed. That's the outline of the story. For the characters in this story, namely Calon Arang, Ratna Manggali, Raja Airlangga, Mpu Baradah, Bahula, and Calon Arang's disciples. In the village of Gira, there lives a widow with a magic named Calon Arang. She lived along with her adult daughter, Ratna Manggali. Because people are afraid of the widow, no man is willing to propose to Ratna Manggali. Knowing this, Calon Arang was angry and cursed the people as punishment. The way she performs a terrible ceremony on the grave while delivering offerings for Goddess Bhagawati, or as we know as Dewi Durga. And then Dewi Durga came down and granted Calon Arang's request. Disease spread. If people get sick in the morning, they will die in the afternoon. Too many victims. King Airlangga received this sad report and tried to find a way to eradicate the disease and its causes. At first, an army was sent to Gira to kill Calon Arang, but was unfortunately unsuccessful because the widow was very powerful. Several of the kings and envoys were killed. Calon Arang became angrier and more violent, and then her magic was spread, so that the people's victims were increasing. The king kept trying while the priests and sages in the palace prayed for guidance. There were hints that only Mpu Baradah from Lemah Tulis village could handle it. The king sent an envoy to Mpu Baradah to ask for help. The request was accepted, and then Mpu Baradah ordered his student named Bahula to appear before the king with the intention of trying to marry Ratna Manggali. The king agreed, and Bahula went to Calon Arang to propose to Ratna Manggali. The application was accepted, and Bahula married Ratna Manggali and lived at his mother-in-law's house. From Ratna Manggali, Bahula knew that Calon Arang always read the book, and every night she performed the ceremony at the graveyard. Bahula returned to Lemah Tulis carrying a book and telling the habits of Calon Arang to Mpu Baradah. Bahula was immediately ordered to return to Gira before his mother-in-law found out. Mpu Baradah followed to Gira. On the way to Gira, Baradah healed the sick and revived the dead, whose bodies were still intact, but if the bodies were damaged, they could not be revived. At the Gira village graveyard, Baradah met Calon Arang. Baradah warns Calon Arang to stop his magic because too much misery is being suffered by the people. Calon Arang is willing to obey Baradah as long as she is treated by Baradah to dissolve his sins. Baradah did not want to take care of her because Calon Arang since was too great. An argument ensued and Calon Arang tried to kill Baradah by spitting fire out of his eyes. Baradah is more powerful, and on the other hand, Calon Arang dies while standing up. Then Calon Arang was revived by Baradah to be taught the truth in order to achieve moksha. Calon Arang was happy because the priest wanted to teach her way to heaven. After finishing the teachings were delivered, Calon Arang has died again and the body is burned. Two students of Calon Arang named Moksirsa and Mahisawardhana became Baradah students. Baradah ordered Bahula to report his work to the king at the palace. The king and his wife, their retinue went to Gira to thank Empu Baradah, and the king returned to the palace. Baradah washes Gira and built pandan for the priest. Baradah followed the king to the palace. The king wanted to become a disciple of the priest, so a ceremony was held. The king had paid for the ceremony and was taught the 4 levels of life. Baradah also asked for the old traditionals to be revived, namely Dewa Sasana, Raja Sasana, Raja Niti, Raja Kapakapa, Munasasana, Resi Sasana, and Adigama. There are several moral values from this Calon Arang story. First, never hold a hatred against others. You gain nothing except harm yourself. Second, the mother's love is eternal. Mothers are willing to do anything for the happiness of their children, just as Calon Arang did to her daughter Ratna Manggali. Third, when we make mistakes, admit it and repent even though it takes a little longer to realize. Accept and live the consequences of your actions that result in many sins. Be a better person. And lastly, for those of who you are looking for a mate, don't worry, be patient, your soulmate will not be wrong, just waiting for the right time to meet you. One day, you two will definitely meet the right person and accept you as you are. And lastly, the visualization of the Calon Arang that I want all of you to know. This is I took from the performance of Calon Arang in Bali. This is Calon Arang, and beside her is Ratna Manggali, her daughter, and several women that are kneeling around Calon Arang are her disciples. That's all from me. I apologize if I made mistakes on my videos. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.